I have someone here today that you really need to get to know. Jennifer Elliott of San Clemente Estate Law. Jennifer, one of the things I appreciate with you, I know you will save my clients a lot of money and make life a lot easier, but she will explain it very simply for you. So I'd like to introduce Jennifer Elliott.
Thanks, Dennis. So Dennis, most of your clients are homeowners or soon-to-be homeowners. And the reason they need a trust is so they can decide what's going to happen to their assets when they pass away, who's going to be in charge of things if they're incapacitated. A trust and an estate plan that's properly drafted will put the right people in place. They get to decide who their assets are going to, and they stay in control over their assets during their lifetime. Now, sometimes clients come to me with a little more detail that they want. They are interested in saving money on taxes, and so that's what I want to talk to you about in some detail today. There's income taxes, there's estate taxes, there's property taxes, and there's capital gains taxes. Today we're going to talk about capital gains taxes, and I'm going to draw on an issue that we just talked about. You were talking about a client who bought their house in the 1970s for $50,000. $50,000 in 1970, this was the purchase price. Now, it's 2022. The real estate prices are huge. Now, this $50,000 house, it's worth $1 million. How much gain is that, Dennis? $950,000 is the gain. Now, this is really great news for your clients. They've got a ton of equity in their house. It's also really great news for the IRS because the IRS looks at that gain and they say, hey, we want a chunk of that gain. And so that is what capital gains taxes is. If you get a properly drafted trust, then your deed, which you currently might have titled as husband and wife as joint tenants, I would change that and I would draft it a deed in community property, and then I would put your house in trust with a trust that I draft for you at San Clemente Estate Law. Now we can get the gain, $950,000, completely stepped up from the purchase price to the fair market value. And this happens on the death of the first spouse. So husband and wife own half of the house each. We'll say husband dies first because statistically that's what happens. Normally, if you left title like this, husband and wife as joint tenants, they would only get a 1/2 step up of this $950,000. But if you come to a proper estate planner, we are going to deed it to community property, then deed it to trust. On husband's death, we get the step up of the full $950,000. Now, what happens if you leave it as joint tenants? Wife gets half of her $950,000. That is $475,000. That's the gain that wife has to claim. Now she gets a $250,000 exemption. She still has to pay taxes on that remaining $225,000. Capital gains estimated to be about 20%. That is a $45,000 tax bill that wife has to pay. If she comes to a proper estate planner and she gets things done in line, she is going to have zero to pay in capital gains taxes. So not only as estate planners do we put your wishes in order, we decide who's going to get what, we protect you from probate court, we keep your family together because you're not tied up in litigation, but we save you on taxes. So if you are okay with the state of California having a plan for you, go ahead, don't do any planning. But if you don't want the state to be in charge of your assets, come see me at San Clemente Estate Law.